Hey guys, Lawrence here, and today's video is concerning the likes of a work-life balance. You see, I work from home, and I struggle in trying to balance out a work-life, cohesion. It's kind of like what Gohan does in Dragon Ball. That's what he was struggling with in Super, trying to find a work-life balance. You can't just have one and ignore the other. You gotta have both if you're in Dragon Ball. I keep thinking that I need to work practically all the time. It varies depending on how a video does. If your video does well, then that week is pretty good. If it doesn't, then yeah, it's fine. But as a result of being a YouTuber and all this kind of stuff, the numbers do matter. And I know that's really silly and they really shouldn't, but it's kind of like the stock market. If the numbers are high, then everything's good. If the numbers are low, then you might want to change that. In the recent months, I've just had to start thinking, well, okay, I need to start putting some kind of boundaries on this type of thing, realizing what I need to do in order to kind of, not go crazy. And that is really to have a hard cutoff point when it comes to work. Let me run through a typical work day for you guys, so it means you know what I'm doing. I get up at 6:45 AM, that's when Philly gets up too, because when she goes to school. I spend about maybe about an hour or so just slowly waking up, having a coffee, just checking everything like emails and any other kind of social media notifications, stuff like that. Just slowly amping myself up. I usually record about 8 or 9 AM in the morning. Just that means I have the day to quietly edit it, work on that. It means I'm not having to worry about doing it later. Then the rest of the day is kind of just spent, scripting, coming up with ideas, talking to Haverock, my researcher buddy. We formulate ideas and then we just work on next week's stuff. And sometimes I think about extracurricular stuff like streams, what I could stream, any other projects like with R&R, check in with those guys. Just slowly plod along, but it does fill up an entire work day. So when I get up and I start at 8 and I can go until about maybe another 8 PM. So that's my cutoff point. So 12 hours in a day is, in theory, my work day. I cook dinner regularly, so maybe about 3 or 4 times a week or something. Sometimes it's 2, depends on what we want to have. But I feel like ever since I moved into our new home, the work-life balance has slowly shifted into a much more agreeable manner. Sometimes if it's a very quiet week, it does revert back to its time when I was living with my parents. That really, it didn't stop, and there was no restriction in doing so. I could be still working at 1 AM if I needed to. Gone are the days, though, when I would be working on a bridging, because I remember finishing up one episode of Camp for a Bridge. I was able to do it from start to finish in 14 hours. I started in the morning, and I worked all the way through until 2 AM. Yeah, that was a long day. I can't do that again. And I'm pretty sure that some of you guys have to deal with this too. This is something where you think that you need to keep working to justify yourself. And it's something in this society where you feel like you have to one-up everyone else. You think, oh, I worked until 3 AM or something like that. Oh yeah? Well, I worked until 5 AM. You remember that Monty Python sketch where they try and one-up each other? It's basically that. And it's not healthy. People forget that we need time to relax and unwind. And just thinking constantly when you're having a break, you'd be thinking, I could be working right now. Jaden Animations did a very good animation story about this. You really should go and watch that video because it pretty much encapsulates everything. When I saw that video, I was thinking, man, this is just so true. Sometimes I do go until midnight when I'm doing the radio show with EJ and X the Dark One. But for the most part, after about 8 PM, that's pretty much me done in terms of work. And yeah, I do stream, but that's kind of like casual. That's relatively chill. So I guess really I needed to get some kind of balance because otherwise I wouldn't really be able to have some kind of meaningful relationship because it would have put a strain on it. I wouldn't really get to see Philly or actually, just hang out with her. And it would have really just been completely and utterly fruitless. So I think my biggest piece of advice is that if you need to take a break, don't beat yourself up over it. We need to have breaks. When people keep saying, I don't have the time, I'm guilty of this, by the way, you need to make time. Like, just Do things in small increments, short bursts. There's a book I read, something about mastering stuff in 20 hours by Josh Kaufman. And he just basically told everyone, if you want to learn something new, don't just try and slog it in one go. Do it in short, intense bursts, like 20 to 40 minutes every day. Build up to 20 hours. You'll pretty much get the basic grasp of anything at that point. So I guess that's it, really. Don't beat yourself up over it. Try and make time if you can. And have some kind of, concrete place of work. Don't just work in your bedroom or work in your living room or something like that. Try and keep everything concentrated in one place. That's why I have this studio. So it's somewhere where I can go and do my thing and provide you guys content. Like this right now. I hope you guys are doing well, and if you are struggling with the work-life balance, it'll be okay. You'll be able to get through. So, once again, one is glad to be of service.